Hey, 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 it's Natasha, and I'm really excited to be speaking with the one and only Tiffany Penn. So, first of all, love, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Good, good. And I love your name. That's your given name, yeah?
Yes, that is my given name. My mom actually wanted to call me Ebony Janelle when
Mm.
I was born, and my father looked at me and was like, "That is not going to work at all." So they came up with the they came up with the name Tiffany Penn. So, yep,
I
that's
love
me.
it. Okay, so who is Tiffany Penn? Please to share with everyone what you do and how you became the woman you are today.
Okay, so Tiffany Penn is I'm a person that wears many hats. I actually started off I went to college for fashion merchandising at University of Maryland Eastern Shore, where I was concentrating on a dual degree. So I went to FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. Great experience. Realized that I wanted to just jump right into a career. I was over college. I wanted to be an adult, and I wanted to plan events, so I started working at Mandarin Oriental Hotel when they first opened, and everyone was saying that I started at the top. They're like, "You're fresh out of college and you're here," and I was like, "Yeah." Grew really quickly, but then I got really tired of that corporate mindset. Very cookie cutter. Everything needs to be the same. Suits and stockings, not my thing. So I went into private sector working with small businesses where I became a marketing manager, really got good into that, and then I started becoming a general manager. So from there, I would operate the day-to-day operations for some top restaurants here in DC and run the operation for about 55, 60 people at max at times. One day I woke up and decided that I wanted to quit my job, and it was right after I bought my house, and my mom was freaking out. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing. So I started the Penn Agency, which is a small marketing firm that helps small businesses think on a larger scale because sometimes it's that mom and pop shop that has mom and pop thinking. So from my corporate background, just applying some of those tactics and social media platforms to them. So I did that, and I was out of work for like 7 days, the best 7 days of my life, and they called me back. So what did I do? I was like, okay, they need me back. I felt appreciated. So I let my business kind of dwindle down a little bit. And then a year later, they let me go.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
yeah, so from there, I was like, you know what? Never again. So now, I still work with restaurants, but it is under my business, the Penn Agency, and I've always been interested in like arts and craft things. I'm a very creative person. I like stationery paper. Like I'm one of the ones that mail you a Christmas card every year. People are like, "Oh my gosh, like you're so thoughtful." I'm like, "Yeah, because I love paper, like paintbrushes, things of that sort." And I wrote a book like 10 years ago, and I was like, you know what? Once I lost my job, I was like, I'm going to focus on that company, and that launched this year. January 11th, I launched Penn Tales, which is my paper products company, which is a line of like notebooks, journals, things of that sort. So I do a little bit of everything, which is kind of like a gift and a curse sometimes.
Mhm, mhm. No, absolutely. I totally understand. I think, I think what it comes down to is that you're super creative, right? And that you refuse to have to work on other people's terms. And so you're kind of creating the space that you need for you to best succeed. So I think it's amazing. So you
Thank
still, just to clarify, you still have the marketing company and you also launched this like other company where you're offering like stationary products then, right?
Yes, correct. I now have two businesses under my belt. Yep.
Very cool. Okay, so you are definitely very, very busy. I appreciate it.
I
Yeah.
really am.
Okay.
This morning I had to hop on the road to go to Salisbury, Maryland because I'm doing a an event for my college's homecoming in February. So left the house this morning and then I had to hurry up, rush back for this phone call. So totally super busy all the time.
Absolutely. Okay. So then I guess now focusing on you as an entrepreneur, how has being a woman affected your journey? Uh, First, when you launched the first business, and then also now having two under your belt.
Being a woman entrepreneur, it's very I don't know, I feel like you just have to work a little harder.
Hmm.
You have to work harder because like I have a whole lot of male friends that have businesses. They will consult with another man even though I might know the information. They may consult with another man to uh, come up with a great idea. I'm like, duh, I could have given you that information. And even in corporate America, like I've always been one of the only female at a round table full of men. And then also being an African American woman, I feel as though you just have to work harder. You have to be very knowledgeable. You have to, know be up to date with current events. You have to be sharp, very creative, think on your feet. You just have to be better. Because you know that you are in this like male dominated industry, and you just have to put your best foot forward all the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, what do you think is being done to make the journey easier for women of color and for women generally?
Well, you know what? Especially since, last year, even though women have been like climbing the ladder so quickly, but last year, as everyone could see, was like the year of the woman, right?
Mhm.
So coming off of last year into this year, I have seen that at first, when I first started Penn, I wanted to only work with like female photographers, female graphic designers. I just wanted a female I wanted to support females. I just felt as though like that was the whole vision, which I did work with a lot of females to complete this project. And
Mhm.
I think now like women are just becoming more, it's not kind of like a crab in a barrel because sometimes, well, I know sometimes in DC, it's, it will be one female that holds all the information, and in fear of someone else coming to take her spot, there would be no sharing of wealth. So
Mm.
not necessarily like client base, but you didn't get here by yourself. You could pull somebody up, and that's how I kind of think myself. I think it's very important for me to bring people up and over me. So the
Mhm.
people that I do work with from over the years, I have like a core group of girls that I like look up to as much as they look up to me. But in training them, I always tell them that I want them to be better than me. Like, take my knowledge that I'm giving you, put a spin on it, and just be better. Like, I don't want you to be me because I've already been there. Like, I've had my bumps and bruises, but hopefully, with the knowledge that I give to you, you won't have that many bumps and bruises. Even you'll have different obstacles, but you'll be able to defeat them. So.
Mm. I love that you said that, it really you've seen and experienced that it seems like women struggle with coming together because
Mhm.
it does seem like sometimes we are pinned against each other, or if one of us succeed, then maybe there's not enough room for others to, which is absolutely a falsehood. But I think that,
Right.
there's normalization against that. So it's people are struggling with coming to the idea of collaborative approaches are always better. What have you done to, like, how have you come to that conclusion in your career? Like, were there certain resources? Was it how you were raised? Like, how did you embrace womanhood and sisterhood?
Right. So yeah, definitely with the way that I was raised. So I have a lot of female cousins and I always, looked up to them and they always catered to me. Like one of my cousins, Tina, she was um like a key element in the person that I am today, shall I say. So just seeing their interaction from like holidays, we would all get together and bake cookies. And, my mom definitely, kind of instilled that togetherness.
Mhm.
So it's just been instilled in me since I was young. So as an adult, it just became human nature for caring and nurturing. So, from meeting people, networking events, I would always find it interesting that I would always be sparking up a conversation with another female in another high power position at networking events when, of course, there were males in the room, but it would just always be a click and a instant you get me and I get you kind of situation.
Mhm.
So, networking events were key and it's just some type of I really can't explain it. I guess it's just I recognize people or women that are trying because that's all that I do. I try. There's no different recipe. I don't have a secret key. I just try, and if I fail, then I just pick myself back up and I just go again. So I guess I gravitate or network with a lot of women that try because that's all it takes to become successful is that you took the first step in trying.
Absolutely. I think that, I love again that you said that because when it comes to networking, so many people are afraid to like speak with strangers. And I too am always like, hey girl, how are you?
Yeah.
Because I'm
Exactly. It kind of makes it easier, right?
yeah, because it's like you don't know who you don't know, you don't know what you don't know. Just go out there and just be fearless and embrace other women, embrace people
Mhm.
that you just seem interested in speaking with, and let the fear go because yeah, maybe the person might not want to talk to you, but at the end of the day, if you came to do what you needed to do, then people will embrace you or not embrace you. But
Absolutely.
it's not the end of the world. You'll survive. It'll be fine. But it's interesting. Now, when it comes to the concept of Sisters on Fire, so this was a play that formerly was known as Diary of a Mad Black Feminist, started by
Mhm.
Marcia McNair, my mother-in-law, and also the founder of Long Island Girl Talk. And
Okay.
she has really dedicated her career as an English professor, as a former editor at Essence, as and just a playwright and author. She always wants women to know that they have the ability to share their voice and that their voice is meaningful and powerful. And so, Sisters on Fire, the play, is all about four women who are women of color who have different narratives and different experiences, and they're kind of showcasing what's going on in America with our sisters, with our community, and it really touches beyond that as well. It touches on humanity and the human issues. So it's a really wonderful production, and we wanted to continue this conversation online so that
Mhm.
we could feature women like yourself who we deem to be a sister on fire, who's fearless and who's unapologetic about what they're doing in their lives and inspiring others. So my question to you would be, how would you define a sister on fire?
I would define a sister on fire by being so they okay, just follow me here because I kind of live my life in like oxymorons, if you will. But
Mhm.
a sister on fire is someone that is strong yet weak at times, but is able to come out on top. A
Mhm.
sister on fire would be someone that has the ability to take almost nothing and make it into something useful to her and the community. Sister on Fire is someone that has the ability to and is not scared to share her knowledge or what she has to help a fellow being
Mhm.
out of the kindness of her heart without expecting any type of compensation in return. And compensation not necessarily being monetary.
Mhm.
Um, a sister on fire is someone that never stops seeking information or knowledge, always growing, always looking for the next level up. And I also believe that Sister on Fire is always about being a healthy person, being mental, physical, just all the way around, just a human being. So that's what I believe a Sister on Fire is.
I love that. I love multiple parts of your answers because first and foremost, I love that you started with a woman who's a sister on fire is also strong but also weak because what strength and weakness are human traits, and we
Yes,
cannot be strong at all times, nor can we be weak at all times.
absolutely.
It comes in, kind of there's two sides to everything, and I think that there is strength in weakness, there is strength in vulnerability, and being
Hmm.
able to own it and share it is really strong. I think that that's really compelling for a lot of people because they struggle with admitting, hey, I'm struggling with mental health issues. Hey, I'm struggling with family issues. Like whatever the issue is, you have to be willing to own it and to also be able to seek help and support. So that is
Absolutely.
strong. Yeah. And then also, I love that you did talk about mental health as well because in the play we definitely talk about the fact that Black women are actually the we have the highest rate of depression as opposed
Mhm.
to any other group. And women, Black women especially, we are so strong and we're so used to having to carry everything on our backs that we can't, take a moment to say, you know what, I don't have this.
Right.
This is not something that I'm able to do at this moment, and I need support. And we as sisters and we as women have to have the strength to say that and to turn to each other and get that support. So you just hit the nails so many times. So that's awesome. Now you mentioned your cousin, which is really sweet, and shout out to your cousin Tina
Yes.
for helping you be the woman you are. But what are other or who are other Sister on Fire that have helped you professionally, have helped you kind of come into your womanhood, into your Black identity?
Yeah, definitely. So, of course, my cousin Tina and my mom. But then, when I first started working, I used to work under this lady. Her name was Robin. And she, just the way that she would twirl through the office and, just take over a conversation or the room, it was just, her aura was amazing. And she definitely gave me a lot of my ground foundation for my professionalism.
Mm,
Being straight out of college, there are a lot of, you're used to, let me call out, I don't feel like going to work today, or, let me just throw something on. And she definitely was one of the ones that helped me in the very beginning, like, no, this is not what we do. And you need to know that you need to always be on. And, this is what you should do. This is how you need to network, just being there. She was, super amazing. But then,
mm,
as I got older, I started looking at, especially as a general manager, I would have to hire people, and I would find some of the most amazing women. And even though they were younger than me, even Beth, the one that you did an interview with, Beth is such a phenomenal person. And even though she's younger than me, just from conversation, like I talk to her about a lot of different things. I tell her all the time, I'm like, look, you're going to be a doctor one day. I just want to come lay on your sofa. So we like, you are going to be my shrink one day. She's like, oh no, Tiffany, but people like her and a lot of the girls that I worked with, I look up to them probably as much as they look up to me, and it just makes me realize that I have to do better. I always have to, put forth that extra effort because I know that I'm always being watched. So,
mm, mm.
um, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay. So now, what has been, I guess, your most meaningful lesson that you've learned in your career and you'd like to pass on, right? If we're passing the torch right now to other women struggling with whatever's going on in their life, struggling with career stuff, struggling with trying to be a sister on fire and have their voice and they feel stifled, what would you say to her?
If there is ever a point in any situation where you are uncomfortable, uncomfortable being in, in your career, uncomfortable in, let's say, in a relationship, it just means that you are being prepared for something else.
Mm.
So I would, people look at being uncomfortable. You go to work and you've been doing it for about, 3 or 4 years, and it's just everything's so easy that you're bored and you just don't know. You start acting out at work, you start calling out, or you don't care, you're late all the time. It's because you are actually being pushed into another direction.
Mhm.
And I just feel as though you need to listen to yourself and pay attention if it ever gets to that point when you are uncomfortable or you're bored. Just know that you are being groomed for something better.
I love that. I love that, to embrace the uncomfortability and to also like listen to yourself. I totally agree. I've been focusing on like, yeah, more intuitive living, and it's really just remarkable what your mind, what your body will tell you what it needs if you just take the time to listen, right? Like
To
if you,
listen, absolutely.
yeah, if you have the ability to take a nap or to go for a walk, or your body will tell you when it's hungry, when it's sad, when it's happy,
Mhm.
what it needs, and your mind also, your mind will tell you, "Ooh, I'm interested in this," and it'll get focused on certain things. But we owe it to ourselves to listen to us, and to really have like develop that relationship with self, because how can you do anything well if you're not taking care of you and her, right?
Absolutely.
So I love that. I hope everyone listening is truly inspired. Do you have any, like, since you mentioned a talk or event that you're doing, do you have any upcoming events or things that you want to shout out that people like make sure they pay attention to, and can get in touch with you about?
Yeah, definitely. So the journal, I'm launching my first product for Pintails, and
Mm.
that will be at the beginning of February. So everyone can go to Pintails, and that's TALES.com,
Mhm.
and they can read our blog entries. We blog every week, and then the product will actually be on sale in February. So excited about it. It's a interactive journal. Where you can just vent. The name of the journal is called Things I Never Said, meaning
Mm.
that you can finally, jot everything down, write it down, or maybe it's your $1 million idea that you never wanted to tell anyone because you were afraid of what they wanted to say, but you
Mhm.
had it all in your head. You can just write it down. It's a free open space. So, really proud of this project. I vent in the beginning and just say some things I've never said. And then it's, plenty of pages for people to do their own vent session.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. All of the girls that have read it, or I've given a test copy to, they actually relate to it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome. I can't wait to buy this for like my little cousin or someone younger." So, for someone younger, it may be as a learning tool. For someone older, it might be, "Oh my gosh, that happened to me too." So,
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about that project. And then for my college's homecoming, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, Hawk Pride. So so this is my second year. I always wanted to give back because that's what I feel like I've been given this platform, or I've been given this life, and I wanted to give back to those that are coming up. Like I said, so that someone could eventually be better than me. I wanted to start a scholarship at the college. So how else to do it than to have the alumni donate or host a party where the alumni can come and it be for a good cause. It's easier for you to give something and get something in return, so they get a party and I get a donation for a scholarship. So this is the second year and we're just building a scholarship fund that can one day be endowed and distributed amongst the students at UMES. So I'm really excited about that.
That is beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love you. Are on fire, madam. You
Thank you.
And I do want to just shout out to everyone listening that, like, yeah, this journal is wonderful in the sense that I think a lot of, the social media, I'm all about social media, right? But I think that it's a double-edged sword. And I will
Yes.
say that as many times as I can to get people to understand that, Facebook.com is not myjournal.com, right? It is not
Mhm.
the space to be ranting about how you hate this person, how this person is da da da, da all this negative kind of
Mhm.
talk that we have sometimes about ourselves, about other people. I get it, it happens, but we need a safe space to put that.
Mhm.
And the social world is not the space to put that
It is
because it
not.
lives there forever, right? So I love that. Yeah, you've created this space now where you're saying, be one with yourself, put your thoughts out there, have clarity, have focus, what's going on with you and your mind, but put it in a safe space. So I think that everyone should get this. Sounds amazing. And then yes, congratulations on being able to offer that opportunity for other people because as we know, going to school is not cheap. And
I know.
right,
Getting
yeah,
so expensive. Oh my goodness.
unfortunate. I don't know what people think that people are making that they can afford
I
a
know.
$200,000 budget for college and then another 170 for grad school. Like I'm not
I
quite
know.
sure what world people think that people are coming from, but you're definitely you're part of the solution, right? You're offering up an opportunity for someone who's well deserving to be able to have a support when they need it most, which is when they're trying to get their education and further their lives. So that's amazing. And congratulations on
Thank
doing that. That's
you.
awesome.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
So thank you for everything that you are doing. And I can't wait to see the product and I can't wait to hear what everyone thinks about, all the gems that you've dropped on this. So you are a sister on fire and we thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you so much. Thank
All
you so much.
right.
I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.
Alrighty. Thank you. Bye bye.